Sup VC, Bobby here. Time to resume my top 100 albums of all time. I didn't put out a video last week. I was just too busy, didn't have the time. I'm busy this week too, but I have a window of opportunity right now, so hopefully all goes according to plan. I'm going to continue the countdown. We're in the top 80. Try to get the numbers right this time. Last week I just kept getting the numbers wrong. I should have been saying 88, 86, 85, 84, and instead I was saying 96, 95, 94. I was stuck in the 90s, as I usually am. The dream is alive. No, what's that song? The dream of the 90s is alive in Portland. Anyways, morning coffee. Let's get started. In at number 80. Number 80. We got Miles Davis and the Sketches of Spain album. This here is a collaboration with Gil Evans. This is an orchestral release for Miles. It's very cinematic sounding, and it's a masterpiece. Miles Davis has so many masterpiece albums. This is one of my personal favorites. I like when he gets weird. I know he's got other albums, obvious albums that make the list. I may have a few more on my list as we keep going, but this for me is easily one of my favorites. So, and this is a unique one for him. I don't know. He doesn't have a lot. This is jazz, obviously, but it's got classical elements and orchestral elements as well. It's a little bit different than his other albums, but it's one you can play for your mom as well, and she'll have no problem with it. Unless your mom really doesn't like jazz. But anyways, Miles Davis, Sketches of Spain is my number 80 album of all time. At number 79, we are here with my favorite, probably my favorite band that's still making music today. I guess my favorite contemporary band, the Brian Jonestown Massacre. And this is, their third album or something called Give It Back. These guys, obviously, as their name would suggest, they're heavily inspired by early Rolling Stones. If you've seen the movie Dig, you've heard about the drama surrounding this band and their mates, their friends, the Dandy Warhols. That movie is very entertaining. The Dandy Warhols went on to great success. Brian Jonestown Massacre, not so much, because Anton Newcomb was not always the easiest guy to get along with. But at the end of the day, I think the Brian Jonestown Massacre have far more fans these days. This album, it's just so outstanding. I mean, so many great songs on here. Supersonic Sue is a great song. It's Not If You Were the Last Dandy on Earth, which was a response to the Dandy Warhols song, Not If You Were the Last Junkie on Earth. And Servo is one of my favorite songs of all time. In fact, it's my ringtone. It's just got such an amazing riff and just an unbelievable song. This is modern day psych. You really can't go wrong with any of their albums. Some of their albums get a little bit more electronic. They did have a little phase there where they were dabbling into the electronic a little bit. Those are awesome too. But this is the one I went with. If you get this album, don't feel you have to get it on vinyl. I think the original, this is a reissue. It was never originally released on vinyl. It was on CD. And this reissue came out a few years ago, but I don't think they ever found the original tapes. So it's mixed a little hot. It's not the best sounding vinyl record in the world. So, if you're going to buy them on vinyl, get some of their later releases. But still, I mean, it looks cool, blue vinyl there. But yeah, just an outstanding psych rock, modern day psych rock album, the Brian Jonestown Massacre. Give It Back, baby. Number 79. Number 78, we've got Joe Jackson's debut album, Look Sharp. This is, new wave punk rock. Very similar sounding to Elvis Costello. In fact, I think a lot of people talked about how Joe was sort of ripping off Elvis Costello a little bit with this album, and I guess you can sort of hear where that comes from. Although they were contemporaries, so it's kind of hard to say that one was ripping the other off. I will say, as far as the entire career goes, Elvis Costello by far is better than Joe Jackson. Way more solid material overall. But I'll tell you, Elvis Costello, in my opinion, this is a controversial opinion, but to me, he never released one single album as solid as this one. This is all killer, no filler. One more time, Sunday Papers. Is She Really Going Out With Him? Which I know you're sick of because you heard it on the radio too much, but it's still a great song. Happy Lovin' Couples, Throw It Away, Baby Stick Around, Look Sharp, Fools in Love, Do the Instant Mash, Pretty Girls, Got the Time. This album blasts by. I don't know how long it is, but it doesn't seem like it's that long because the songs are abrupt and quick. There's splashes of reggae in some of these songs, like Fools in Love. It is witty. It is caustic. I think Joe, I don't know. I think he was in the midst of a bad relationship here or something, or maybe just sick and tired of having no relationship. I don't know. But, man, this is a great album. I mean, I've been madly in love with my wife for 20 years, but this year, if you're angry with tired of being alone, I think this album could be very therapeutic for you. But anyways, Joe Jackson, Look Sharp, number 78. Number 77, we got the Dave Brubeck Quartet with Time Out. This is a classic, and it's a classic for a reason. I mean, it's when people start checking off their favorite jazz albums of all time, this one often makes the cut. It's usually in a person's top 10 or even top 5. Just an amazing album. Boy, I'm at a loss for words all of a sudden on what to say about it. The thing is, what else is there to say? I mean, you know, everybody knows the album. You're familiar with it. You're familiar with the lineup. Probably more familiar than I am because I can't even remember who's playing on this thing now. But anyways, Time Out, the Dave Brubeck Quartet, Blue Rondo a la Turk, Strange Metal Lark, Take 5, 3 to Get Ready, Kathy's Waltz, Everybody's Jumping, Pick Up Sticks, amazing. And just an amazing sounding album on vinyl too. If you're getting into the whole vinyl thing and wondering, you know, what is with the, you know, vinyl has superior sound, this is one of the greats. As far as I'm concerned. This is an original Canadian mono pressing on Columbia 6i. Beautiful, isn't it? And it's in minty shape. It's really good. Yeah, Joe Morello on drums. You know, I could just read the liner notes and tell you who's playing on here. Anyways, yeah. Paul Desmond on sax, baby. Ooh. Yeah, amazing. Time Out by the Dave Brubeck Quartet, sitting comfortably at number 77. Number 76 is Chick Corea's Return to Forever album. Not too long after this, Chick Corea would form a band called Return to Forever, who also released a ton of great songs in the jazz fusion vein. I love a lot of that 70s jazz fusion. I mean, you know, I'm a prog head, so what can you do? You grow up listening to prog, that segues very nicely into other genres, including jazz fusion. I know some jazz purists will sort of cringe at you know, even just the term jazz fusion makes them, you know, break out into a rash often, but this is, you know, this is outstanding. I don't care who you are. And I don't care what you want to call it. If you want to call it jazz fusion, you want to call it progressive rock, go right ahead. It's got Stanley Clarke on electric bass, double bass, Flora Purim on vocals and percussion. Yeah, just Erto Moriera on drums and percussion. That guy's a wizard on the drums. This, you know, it's kind of funny because you look at the cover of this album and it's like, this is some peaceful, serene music to listen to on the beach. Yeah, maybe, but this one's got a lot of energy, and yeah, I find it hard to fall asleep and relax to this. I find this album very energetic. And yeah, what else can I say about that? It's beautiful. It's on the ECM label. Has a lot of great. I mean, I've got a lot of love for albums on the ECM label, and this is one of the best. So Chick Corea's Return to Forever at number 76. Number 75. It's an album everybody knows, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors. And you know what? I know there's the Peter Green purists out there. I know there's the ones who say that, you know what, Tusk is incredibly underrated, and Tusk, which came out after this album, is incredibly underrated, and Rumors gets all the praise, but Tusk is the far more adventurous album. Hey, I almost included both of those, but I hear you. I agree in many ways, but song for song, you just can't beat Rumors. It's a perfect album. It's a perfect pop album. I mean, whatever type of music you want to call this is fine, but at the end of the day, it's pop music. And it's excellent. It's a greatest hits album, for crying out loud, without being a greatest hits album. Secondhand News, Dreams, Never Going Back Again, Don't Stop, Go Your Own Way, Songbird, The Chain, You Make Lovin' Fun, I Don't Want to Know, Oh Daddy, Gold Dust Woman. The sequencing on this album, everybody knows the story behind the album, right? Like, everybody hated each other, everybody was having affairs with each other, and all kinds of stuff. It was a very, very caustic atmosphere in the studio, and so the artist felt that they would just sing the way that they feel. They would write the way that they feel. This album, they're just spitting anger at each other in every song, but it became such an unexpected and major hit that there was no way the Mac could break up after that. They had no choice. I mean, they put their differences aside. It's amazing what happens when you bury the hatchet in a big pile of money. Fleetwood Mac, Rumors. Number 75. Number 74. We've got some classic soul with Wilson Pickett. This is the Wicked Pickett album. Besides being a great name for an album, this is a classic. I love all these guys. I love Otis. I love James Brown. I love, Sam Cooke and Marvin Gaye but it's amazing once you start narrowing things down. I mean, we may hear from a couple of those other gems on this list. We may not. Well, you will. You'll hear from some, but I'm not going to tell you who. But there's just so many albums that I had to leave off, and it killed me because, there are so many great ones. Wilson Pickett released so many great albums. I just love this one, though. And, this is 1966. Mustang Sally, Everybody Needs Somebody to Love, Knock on Wood before they discified it, Time Is on My Side. He does a great version of Time Is on My Side. Three-Time Loser. Whew. Yeah, the Wicked Pickett. This is some solid material. This is great. This is an older American mono pressing on the tricolored Atlantic, or is that tricolored? I don't know. Is white a color? Red, purple, and white. And it sounds great too. And this pressing is amazing. And I found this. Somebody, this was passed on to me from a private collection. Just beautiful stuff, man. And and just the energy and his voice. How do these guys, the pipes, these guys, their vocals are an instrument unto themselves. So Wilson Pickett, the Wicked Pickett, is at number 74. Number 73. Here's another one of those moments where I had to be honest with myself. It's an album that really needs no introduction. Nirvana's Nevermind. I, like Andrew, I almost had Bleach on here. Then I was listening to In Utero, and I was kind of like, no, In Utero, that's right. In Utero's the better album. It's always been the better album. I promoted that for years. And then I gave Nevermind a listen, and it was like, no, it's... And you know what? This is that, the reissue that was done on Palace in Germany. And and it just sounds so amazing. And it's another case of one of those albums, you know, Smells Like Teen Spirit, In Bloom, Come As You Are, Lithium, Polly. Those songs, when they're played on the radio, I feel like I've heard it too much and I turn them. But in the context of the album, I never turn away from them. And On a Plane is the the sleeper of the album. It's one of my favorite songs, if not my favorite song on the record. I like Territorial Pissings as well too, but anyways, Nirvana, Nevermind, number 73. Number 72, it's David Bowie with The Rise and Fall of what is it? The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Again, what do I got to say about this album? For years, I said this was my favorite album. This I need a better copy. This one is snap, crackle, popping all over the place. It's an early RCA pressing on that lousy Dynaflex thing, but you just can't beat this. Like song for song, Star, Hang On to Yourself, Ziggy Stardust, Suffragette City, Side 2 in particular. Like I love the whole thing, but the last 5 songs of Side 2. Man, that is one great streak of music. What can I say about this that's never been said before? David Bowie, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Like I say, at one time, this was my favorite David Bowie album, but it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. Oops, I've already said too much. Stay tuned. Number 71. Capping off this portion of the countdown is Sonic Youth's Daydream Nation. Came out, I think, in 1986. We're talking here about the best albums of all time. If I were to actually sit down and tell you who the greatest bands of all time, based on longevity, amount of material, and and then of course how good they were. I've often said Sonic Youth and Yo La Tengo are the two greatest bands of all time because they've been around for decades, and from their first album to their most recent, they've never skipped a beat. Like every album has been great. And Sonic Youth, when Kim Gordon and Thurston Moore's marriage broke up, well, that was the end of the band as well. But, they had a solid 25, 26-year run. There wasn't a bad album in the bunch, if you like that kind of thing. It's alternative, it's noise rock, it's not everybody's thing. I mean, I think I read even when their son was kind of playing drums with them for a bit, they asked him what he thinks of his parents' music, and he was sort of like, yeah, I don't know, so a lot of it sounds like noise to me. It's pretty funny. I bet you the kid listens to Carpenters. He's rebelling against his parents by listening to whatever, Roberta Flack or something. But this is the box set edition. This was like a 20th anniversary or 25th anniversary box set or something. I don't have an original, but it sounds amazing. Sonic Youth's Daydream Nation, just an outstanding album, sitting at number 71 on my list. So there you go. I whipped through them pretty quickly, although, whatever, it's still almost 20 minutes. But there you go. I hope I'll have another one up next week, or maybe before the end of this week or something. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're moving right along. I hope you're enjoying the countdown. Again, thank you to everybody who commented and stuff last time. Every comment I appreciate, because like I said last time, I don't really promote this channel. I don't really expect anything. So it is nice that people are responding, so and listening to my opinion, because I love talking. I love stating my opinion. Thank you very much. I gotta work on these conclusions. I never know how to end these things. So be good to people and drink coffee and listen to records, and I'll talk to you later. See you guys. Bye.